Thank you, President Saunders. Caribbean Court of Justice, Original Jurisdiction, Judgment Delivery in DMOJ number 1 of 2022 between DCP Successors Limited and the State of Jamaica. The members of the delivery panel are Mr. Justice Saunders, President and Presiding Judge.
Good afternoon, Council.
Mr. Justice Anderson.
Good afternoon, Council.
Madam Justice Rajnapli.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Mr. Justice Barrow.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Justice Burgess.
Good afternoon, Council.
And Mr. Justice Jamada.
I think Mr. Justice Jamada won't be with us this afternoon, and I apologize for his absence.
Thank you, President. May we have the appearances, please? Thank you.
May it please your honors. My name is Michael Hilton. I appear for the claimant, and with me are Sunday Arthur Gibbs and Tamara Mason. May it please.
May it please your honors. I am Stuart Stimson, instructed by the Director of State Proceedings for the State of Jamaica.
Right now, and we're learning about a new lawsuit filed against the folk.
Appearing with me are Ms. Cherise Gale, Ms. Faith Hall, and Ms. Lisa White.
Yes, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Your Honors. For CARICOM Secretariat as amicus curiae, Lisa Showman, and with me are Radha Permanand and O'Neill Francis.
Good afternoon, Council. I will read a summary of the judgment of the court. This summary is not intended to be a substitute for the reasons of the court or to be used in any later consideration of the court's reasons. This is a claim that was brought by DCP Successors Limited, or DCPS, a soap manufacturing company duly incorporated under the laws of Dominica. The case was heard by all 7 judges of the court, but regrettably, before today, Justice Witt retired from the court on the ground of ill health, and he passed away shortly thereafter. DCPS manufactures in Dominica generic soap noodles, among other products. The noodles may be produced using fatty acids from either palm or coconut oil, or alternatively, using tallow or animal fats. Soap noodles manufactured by the claimant are molded into various soap products, including but not limited to laundry bar soap and bath bar soap. Since DPS's soap noodles and its other soap products are manufactured within the Caribbean community in CARICOM, those goods are eligible for and they receive preferential treatment relative to similar goods from 3rd states. Regional importers of DCPS's products do not pay the Common External Tariff established by CARICOM. DCPS exports throughout the region both the soap noodles manufactured by them as well as the finished laundry and bath soaps. The defendant of the claim is the CARICOM member state of Jamaica, which I would refer to throughout as Jamaica. There are soap producing enterprises also operating in the state of Jamaica. These soap producers import already manufactured soap noodles from 3rd states such as Malaysia and Indonesia. They add fragrances, extracts of oil, moisturizers, and color to the imported noodles, reshape them into various forms, and repackage them. They will distribute the final product both in Jamaica and also exported throughout the region and beyond. Initially, the soap noodles imported by the soap producers were classified under a different tariff heading than the tariff heading properly applicable to soap and soap noodles, which is 34.01. After some concern was raised about the classification, assistance was sought from the World Customs Organization, WCO, in relation to the classification. The WCO advised that the correct tariff heading was 34.01, which attracts a CET of 40%. Jamaican soap products exported to other member states were initially exempted from payment of the CET, as the relevant authorities in Jamaica considered these goods to be of community origin, eligible for preferential treatment. The authorities in Jamaica later applied to the CARICOM Secretary General for a safeguard certificate in respect of these goods. These applications were denied on the basis that the Jamaican soap products were not of community origin. So producers of the member state of Jamaica continued to import soap noodles from third states without paying any CET. Jamaica then justified its non-imposition of the CET on these soap noodles on provisions of its domestic law. This law, the Productive Inputs Relief Program, established under Jamaica's customs legislation, exempted Jamaican manufacturers from payment of the CET on certain products imported from third states where there was not available like products in adequate supply in the community. It was argued that this law was consistent with and permissible under the list of conditional duty exemptions of the revised CET. It was also alleged that there was an inadequacy of regional supply because DCPS's soap noodles were substandard. DCPS had previously engaged soap producers in Jamaica about supplying them with soap noodles, but the Jamaican soap producers took issue with the quality of the soap noodles provided by DCPS. In its originating application, DCPS sought a declaration that Jamaica breached Article 82 and paragraph 18 of Schedule 3, which speaks specifically to the oils and fats subsector of the Revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, the RTC, by failing to apply the 40% CET applicable to soap noodles imported into Jamaica from non-CARICOM sources. B, an order requiring customs officers in Jamaica to impose the 40% CET applicable to soap noodles unless the Council for Trade and Economic Development of CARICOM, quoted, grants a suspension of the CET. C, a declaration that Jamaica breached Article 84 of the RTC by unlawfully issuing certificates of origin to Jamaican soap producers in respect of soap products made from extra-regional soap noodles. D, an order requiring Jamaica to cease issuing certificates of origin in respect of soap products made from extra-regional soap noodles unless the CARICOM Secretary General has issued to the member state of Jamaica a safeguard certificate. E, compensation for breaches of provisions of the RTC. And F, an order for costs. In its defense, the member state of Jamaica contended that the matter was not one subject to this court's jurisdiction, that there were no breaches of the RTC, and that DCPS was not prevented from enjoying the benefits conferred by Article 82 of the RTC concerning the supply of soap noodles. Jamaica also initially made several claims against CARICOM, which had not been a party to the action, relating to their failure to grant Jamaican soap producers safeguard certificates. At the case management stage, the parties initially consented to adding CARICOM to the proceedings as a defendant. However, at a subsequent case management conference, the member state of Jamaica indicated that it did not wish to maintain any claims against CARICOM. The court accordingly removed CARICOM as a defendant to the proceedings and allowed the community to appear instead as an amicus curiae. The court found that Jamaica's reliance on the list of conditional duty exemptions failed to consider the overarching general note of quoted, which explains how the rules regarding the list of ineligibles under the list of conditional duty exemptions must be interpreted. The court observed that the general note made it clear that items produced in CARICOM in quantities considered adequate to justify the application of tariff protection were ineligible for duty exemption. This ineligibility is consistent with the objectives of the RTC and in particular with Schedule 3 of the RTC, which elaborates a special regime for oils and fats, which are defined to include soap and soap noodles. Schedule 3 makes it clear that the member states shall apply the rate of duty set by COTED on all imported oils, fats, and their substitutes. The 40% CET established by COTED on soaps and soap noodles may be suspended by COTED where there is insufficient supply in CARICOM. The text of the Jamaican law, which provides for that member state's Productive Inputs Relief Program, was also found to be consistent with the principle that regarding oils and fats, member states should first source from within the single market. That regime acknowledges and suitably caters for this principle. The court was not convinced by the evidence that suggested that DCPS's soap noodles were rancid or otherwise unfit for purpose. The court also found that DCPS was capable of supplying soap noodles to the entire single market of the community. The court noted that the view that notwithstanding the adequacy of regional supply, Jamaica should be entitled to import from third states soap noodles free of the CET, produced a result that was at variance with the aims and objectives of the RTC and with its clear provisions. The long-term viability of the regional oils and fats industry is not enhanced by that result, nor is the regional marketing of oils produced from indigenous raw materials thereby facilitated. As such, Jamaica was found to be in breach of Article 82 and paragraph 18 of Schedule 3 of the RTC by not imposing the CET on the importation of soap noodles from extra-regional sources. In relation to Jamaica's alleged breach of Article 84 of the RTC, the court accepted the concession of counsel that there had been a breach by the member state of Jamaica. The court considered a mitigating circumstance urged by Jamaica. Counsel had submitted that although Jamaica was in breach by initially misclassifying its soap products as being of community origin, the member state should not be found liable for that breach because its misclassification was done in good faith, as it was an innocent mistake. The court discussed good faith as undergirding much of international law in general and treaty law in particular. It is expected that states will act in good faith when entering into and performing treaties. States are, however, bound by their treaty obligations and are expected to fulfill them. In the result, the court found that the claims of DCPS against the member state of Jamaica in relation to Articles 82 and 84 were made out. The court awarded costs to DCPS and declared that a case management conference shall be held to consider the modalities for determining whether, and if so, what other possible remedies or relief are due to DCPS. Now that is the summary of the court's decision. Counsel would be given a copy of the judgment, and a date now must be set for a case management conference for us to determine the future progress of this case. Now, the court did not establish that date. I don't know whether that is something that can be done now. Obviously, we would like to have that done as soon as practicable so that we can know when and what other procedures may be necessary in this case.
If I may,
there has
Your Honor,
not been, yes?
Your Honor, apologize. Speaking for the claimant, we would certainly be ready to set the date now if the court was able to do so.
Yes. I think what I would want to do now is perhaps to have a huddle with my colleagues, and we will, let's throw out, first of all, the 9th of February, next week, Friday. Is that a date that is suitable to counsel? It's not a date which I am sure, I'm satisfied that all our judges, I still have to consult with them to see whether that is available. Somebody says that's Carnival Friday in Trinidad. But it's not a public holiday. I tell you what, why don't we do it this way? Let me confer with my colleagues, and we will give you 2 or 3 dates. We'll come back with 2 or 3 dates, and we will then see whether any of those dates is suitable for you. So if you would just hold on, I will open a new call and have a discussion with my colleagues. All right, so council, we want to propose the 9th. That's, if you were in Trinidad, Carnival Friday, at 10 a.m. Trinidad time.
That is convenient for the claimant, Your Honor.
Regrettably, it's not a convenient date at all for the defendant.
No. What about the 14th? That's Ash Wednesday.
It is a public holiday in this jurisdiction.
We would make ourselves available, Your Honor.
It's not a public holiday in Trinidad.
You have to
Monday
be
and Tuesday.
Trinidadian council to claim it as a personal public holiday.
Monday and Tuesday are.
So what was the third date? So we could just confirm. It's.
What's that?
You had mentioned 3 possible dates. Is there a third date? No?
Well, I was hoping you wouldn't go there. What about the 16th?
Again, sir, we would make ourselves available.
The 16th is convenient. What time was the court meant to consider?
At 9 o'clock Jamaica time, which is 10 o'clock Trinidad and Tobago time.
And for how long, Your Honor?
Well, that would depend on the parties, but I had envisaged initially that this would be a case management conference that would only address broad parameters. And then we have a subsequent one to go into, well, that would build on the first one, because depending on what are the results of the first one, we would know what is left to be done. Of course, if in the first one we could do everything that needs to be done, although to my mind that may not be likely, but if we can, then, you know, you ask how long, it's difficult to say. You see, I would think at least an hour, maybe not more than 2 hours at max.
Great, Your Honor. That is your sentiments supported or our appreciation of what we envisaged the first hearing contemplating.
Yeah, so we're going to lock that in the 16th of February at 10 a.m. Eastern time. That's 10 a.m. Trinidad time.
What's your best, John?
Is there anything else that council wishes to put before the bench? No?
Nothing from us, John.
Okay. In that case, we would take the adjournment at this point to the Friday, 16th February at 10 a.m. Trinidad time, 9 a.m. Jamaica time. Mrs. Thomas Roberts, can you please close the proceedings? Now, CARICOM, we haven't heard from you, and I haven't really been speaking directed any of my comments to you. I take it that you would be in attendance?
We're entirely in the court's hands, Your Honor.
Yes, maybe it may be helpful if you are there. The role that you may be required at that stage may not be great, but nevertheless, it's best that you're there at every step of the way so that you can follow what's going on. Yeah.
Thank you,
Okay.
President.
Yeah. So, Mrs. Roberts, you may close the proceedings.
Thank you, President. Thank you, Mr. Justice Anderson. Thank you, Madam Justice George-Lee. Thank you, Mr. Justice Farrell. Thank you, Mr. Justice Burgess, and thank you, Counsel. And thank you to the staff of the Caribbean Court of Justice. This court now stands adjourned. Good day to all. Thank you.
Good day.
You.
Good day.